Welcome to another episode of Inside IALR. Thanks for joining us. We've had a lot of growth at the Institute for Advanced Learning and Research in the last really 2 years, two years and change. And a big portion of that growth has been happening in our Manufacturing Advancement Division, which is our newest division, was launched in about 2018, and since then has just grown exponentially. And we're here today with Jason Wells, who has stepped into the role of Executive Vice President of that entire division. And he has been here for, what is it, a little over a month now, Jason?
Yeah, approximately 6 weeks.
Nice. So yeah, we got you fresh on the job. You're still excited, still having fun. So thanks for being here today.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for taking the time to talk with me.
You know, you're new to the role. I know you're not new to the Institute and what the Institute for Advanced Learning and Research, what we do. So tell us a little bit about your background and your experience leading up to joining IALR.
Sure. Going way back, my path started very much like many of the students that come to the Institute for various workforce development education efforts. My background, I started out in this career path as a journeyman tool maker, served a 4-year apprenticeship and kind of went the non-traditional route in regards to education. So I came in, started in the manufacturing arena, skilled labor person, and I'm very, very proud of that background. And then once I got into the workforce, started to develop my education and skill set beyond that to continue to grow and to continue to take on other endeavors in the manufacturing arena. Total, I have about almost 35 years of manufacturing experience. Pretty much have done that since the late 80s, early 90s, coming out of high school, and then worked through a variety of different capacities within a manufacturing environment, all the way, like I said, from the shop level of operating manufacturing equipment through shop management to full operations management to research and development, product development, touched a little bit of everything. I was very fortunate in my career in the sense that when I came into the industry, I went to work for a privately owned entity, a family-owned company that went through a tremendous growth spurt into the late 90s and early 2000s. And due to the demands of rapid growth, got to experience a little bit of every aspect of the operations and touch those various operations, which have been incredibly beneficial for me throughout my career, to pull upon those real world experiences and those skill sets of walking a mile in a variety of different shoes that all are necessary in order for a manufacturing entity to grow and to thrive.
Right. No, and that sounds like, those experiences also would help in this role, and you're managing a lot of diverse programs and services and operations it's important that you understand that from the ground up. You understand, as you said, what's happening at the operations level, and then can see that from the bigger picture and pulling from all those experiences too.
Definitely. And I hope that that's something that I can bring to the table. I had some great mentors throughout my career path. I would never have been able to accomplish the things that I have in my career without the inspiration, the guidance, the folks that had very much taken time to really share their knowledge and share their experiences with me. When I saw the opportunity to come over to the Institute and be a part of what's going on here, a real motivating factor was to pay it forward. I look to hopefully instill my experiences throughout the years in the variety of capacities that I've served in, but also to really help that next generation.
Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about your experience with IALR before joining our organization.
Yeah, that's an interesting story. So it goes back almost 9 years now. So I was working for a company that was searching to locate a advanced engineering hub, and it was specifically in the cutting tool arena. But what we were looking to do was do tailored products, blueprint type products, and turnkey projects, fully engineered from the ground up. And after we got to searching, we landed in Danville here, very much because we were inspired by what we saw going on here at the Institute. That really motivated us to have a high level of confidence to bring our organization here to town. So I think what's unique that I hopefully can also bring to this role is for the last 8+ years, I was a recipient of the benefits of the Institute. As a hiring manager, I hired pretty extensively out of the various programs on the IALR campus. As a business leader in the community, I served on a variety of boards and got the ability to advise and to meet other industry members, and the community did a great job of bringing us together as industry. So I've really seen that side of it as someone who would come into town with the responsibility of growing, managing, starting up a company. And those experiences really inspired me.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. And I know mostly you're talking about the integrated machining technology program that you.
It was, yeah, that was the foundational program that was here on campus when we first came. It's coming into its 10th year, or its 10th cohort, and 8 years ago when we came, it was a fairly new program itself. But in that 8 years, we've just seen a continued commitment and evolution, and just the campus expand, the capabilities expand.
Mm-hmm. As you said, during that time, since you came around with working primarily with the IMT program, we have a lot more going on now than we did then. So let's kind of talk through some of what the Manufacturing Advancement Division covers. Generally, you could kind of categorize it as there's a lot of workforce training programs. I would say that's probably the bulk of it, and then a lot of technology development, and then also we're providing some specialty services to industry. Do you think that would be sort of a fair way to encapsulate what?
Yeah, very much so. That's actually a great way of describing it. The Manufacturing Advancement division within the IALR is definitely the fastest growing division. It's also now the largest. I think what has really happened is, I talked about how I, as an industrialist that came to town, was inspired by that third-year program. Since then, there's been some tremendous other programs that continue to just make those critical junctures and connection points in what I call that workforce pipeline. One program in particular that I served on the board for when I was running a company here in town that I'm always incredibly impressed with is the GoTech program. That's pushing that awareness of skilled labor and engineering paths down to that middle school level. You come to town and you see, okay, you're starting this pipeline at that 6th grade level, and then you carry that on into these very well-equipped programs at the high school level. With the dual enrollment programs at the high school level, you can then get some of your community college credits taken care of. And so now you've got that carries over to the DCC campus, to get your associate's degree. And then the Institute started, in conjunction with DCC, the 3rd-year integrated machining program that now takes that associate's degree person and steps them up just a next level to really refine those soft skills, get a feel for the dynamics that goes on in bringing a manufacturing environment together, and really training those next level manufacturing leaders, team leaders, and supervisors. And now with collaboration with Old Dominion University, we now have a path to go to a 4-year degree as well. I say all that to say that, a lot of the growth that's happened here in the Institute is the collaborative efforts and cooperations of, as I just mentioned, many, many different governing bodies and institutions and folks all coming together, rowing the boat in the same direction with a common vision of, world-class skilled labor coming out of this community. And now that others outside the community have come and observed that, what was created, what was built, they have been inspired to tap into that magic, tap into that secret sauce to a degree, And now we're seeing programs that are being pushed out, like the ATDM program, the Accelerated Training Program for Defense Manufacturing. Now we're seeing the national level recognize the success that Danville has had. That's the training component of it, but how we've trained advanced technologies, how we've trained modern techniques has inspired another leg to the manufacturing advancement department, which is the research side of things, what we call the Center for Manufacturing Advancement, where we're doing real world projects to optimize to really bring technologies to industry as a whole. So really it's all exciting, and you know, and it has a lot to do with not just the institute but the whole community.
And what you're talking about, sort of those, you know, the initial investments and groundworks from IALR and so many other partners laying the foundation for things like GoTech, which now is spreading all over the state, and creating that pipeline through those schools, as that sort of being a big part of the inspiration for the Navy wanting to invest here is a really cool story to see that, you know, there's not even, when those pipelines were being put together, I'm sure no one was thinking this is going to lead to us having a major Navy training program also come here.
Yeah, I would say, you know, that's what's interesting, is that wasn't the objective. It's certainly a great byproduct. You know, I think to a degree Danville did a very brave thing with the institute and with the investments you said with various pieces of equipment, you know, and took a kind of a build it and they will come type of philosophy. It's one of the things that I loved about the community and the institute is they really understand, and they're really dedicated to their why they're doing, you know, this for the region's economic transformation, for the future generations that are growing up, you know, in the region. And then, you know, I think a lot of places focus on the what and the how. You know, they know what they want, you know, they're very clear on what they want to do. They define processes on how they do it, but you can sometimes lose sight of your why. And the why, that inspiration is really what's driving, you know, the confidence in what we're capable of doing.
Yeah, I know. And this organization is very, very clear on what our mission is, and make sure that's from the top to the bottom, that everyone understands what that mission is and how what they do contributes to that. I want to talk a little bit in depth about, we have three separate partnerships with the Navy. One of those, as you mentioned, and you can kind of give a brief overview of each of these, is the Accelerated Training and Defense Manufacturing Program, basically training workers to essentially build submarines or work with companies that make parts for submarines and ships. Inside our Center for Manufacturing Advancement, the Navy has established their Additive Manufacturing Center of Excellence. You can talk about that and sort of what that work is. 4 months ago, we launched the Naval Aviation School for Additive Manufacturing, which is training active duty Navy sailors and Marines. So kind of talk us through each of those programs and what that means for us, that we have so many different partnerships going with the U.S. Navy here in Danville.
Certainly, it's interesting to see how, you know, this small community of Danville is having such a huge impact on our nation as a whole. I'll start with the ATDM program, the Accelerated Training Program. So one of the things that has been identified by, you know, the U.S. government, what we call skills gap that exists in industry, and that, you know, is truly a risk to national security. Admiral Papano, who was a big proponent of the efforts that are happening here in Danville, I remember sitting through one of the summits that we hosted here in Danville, and him giving a very moving and powerful speech about, you know, how critical our manufacturing bandwidth and capabilities have been to our ability to avoid conflict and also to win conflict. So going clear back to World War II, you know, turning bread factories into bullet factories and car factories into tank factories. And then you fast forward in time and offshoring of our manufacturing capabilities and the move away from skilled labor. certainly puts us at risk of being able to do that if we ever needed to do that again. That's a shift to get back to a robust workforce that's filling the defense industrial base, the submarine industrial base. The gap is huge. It's estimated at a leakage of 10,000 workers needed per year. So the ATDM program was created to take basically a year's worth of community college training and smash it into 16 weeks. We accomplish that through a very rigorous schedule of training 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, just like you would on a job or in a work environment. And we do that 24 hours a day. So we do 3 shifts of training. And we train in 5 primary tracks that really fill the industrial base. That's CNC machining, welding, fabricating, quality assurance or metrology, additive, which is a pretty exciting new addition to the industrial community, and NDT, which is an inspection process kind of associated with additive. Our goal is 800 to 1,000 a year when the facilities are completely up and fully functional.
And which are the National Training Center is set to open in early 2025.
Yes. Yeah. The other thing we have is the Additive Manufacturing Center of Excellence that we lead, that we're a part of here in the Center for Manufacturing Advancement. And really what that program entails, I think after Navy came on campus, saw some of our capabilities and some of the space that we were creating, some of the, things that we were engaged in. They had confidence in putting this project on campus. And what that project really is looking at is taking, I'll say conventional components that were cast or forged in the past and looking to modernize the entire process around some of those components that you'd find on a submarine or a ship. They're looking to take it from a casting or forged type of environment into an additive grown component. So what that really does is that gives the industrial base an opportunity to drastically reduce the time from a need to a delivered component. And obviously when you're transitioning from traditional processes into more modern techniques, there has to be an adequate proving process and transitional process. And we're ourselves, as well as 2 partners, Phillips and Austell, are engaged in that project to help the Navy transition those older technologies into more modern techniques. The last program, the NavAir program, it's active duty military. It's an abbreviated program that focuses on the additive component. It's a customized curriculum that meets their specific needs in the military itself.
Right. Yeah, no, that's really cool. And I know we just in the past few weeks, the third group from that, NASAM is what we call it, that
NASAM,
group graduated.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that's really cool. Thanks for outlining all that, just all the different ways that we're helping the Navy, and a lot of that does center around additive manufacturing, which I'm sure I'm going to get into that with Tim and James in a future episode.
Oh,
but
good.
I think,
good. It's fascinating. It really is.
But I think that's just really cool, all the different ways we're hitting that, both in terms of the technology development side and almost making those as you said, the proving process and making those recipes so that there are, those other suppliers can make those parts well and have the exact formula to do that.
What's an interesting connection there too, and I think an advantage for us here at the Institute is, we're working on emerging technologies here in the Center for Manufacturing Advancement. The great thing is we can take lessons learned in that aspect of it and then build it into curriculum. We are working on a lot of that leading edge aspects on the research side, and then being able to apply that to the education side gives us that real time impact.
Mm-hmm. I think it's really cool, all of the different programs and work that the Manufacturing Advancement Division is doing right now. So for you, I know you're 6 weeks in, so still getting the lay of the land. But what's kind of what's your vision? What are you hoping to accomplish as the leader of this division? What are you expecting to see grow, to see change? What's kind of what do you see coming?
Well, in all honesty, being this new in the role, I'm certainly still trying to learn, to get to know my staff, certainly our partnerships and our relationships, getting to understand the dynamics of those, and how we can make sure that our relationships are mutually beneficial, and and that we're being an active contributor. But to kind of answer your question, I think I'm so grateful and thrilled to be a part of what's going on here. And like I said, as someone who's watched it as an industrial member here in the community, served on various boards, and I know that the recipe's there. I don't need to mess with the recipe too much or come in and reinvent anything, because everything's moving in the right direction. The staff that here is incredibly talented, incredibly driven, incredibly inspiring, and I want to be a part of that, not to disrupt it, but how can I accelerate that? How can I support that best, and help remove obstacles and barriers that may slow our progress or get in the way or impede the progress. But really, truly, I think that's a big, for me, is making sure that we don't grow in a way that becomes debilitating. And what I mean by that is, just to really make sure that I can be a part of making sure that the growth is impactful, and that it's able to continue, and with that also making sure that we stay true to our why, and that we stay relevant. To be more specific, we want to certainly grow our partnerships here at the CMA with research. We want to get more engaged with industry members, and how we can help take current relevant technologies, and implement them in real time immediately and make impacts for their operations. We want to continue to look at the education side of things, and how can we get creative with additional programs, additional tracks that we could possibly bring into the fold. And then, of course, everything always boils down to the individual. I truly, I mean this very sincerely, I care about every person on our team, and I'm a firm believer that if you align a person with their passion, it's just kind of a let them go, and let them get after it and succeed. The success of each individual on this team manifests into everything that you see on this campus, and that's a real big focus for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and I think what you're talking about is cool, that you're not coming in 4 years ago when basically having to build everything from the ground up. You're coming in when it's all already growing, and you get to help manage that and make sure that's happening the right way. That's a cool position to be in.
It is, and folks like Tim and James and Troy, and all the folks that laid a lot of the foundation and groundwork prior to me, I'm certainly reaping the benefits of in this role. With great programs comes great responsibilities, to quote Spider-Man, I guess.
I like it. Well, Jason, that's all the questions that I have. I mean, I think it's cool to see the as we've talked about the growth of this division and the impact of this division. That's really having an impact on students locally who are coming through things like the IMT program. It's we're bringing teachers in for teacher training. But then with ATDM, we're bringing people from almost 40 plus states and sending them back out to 40 plus states, and having that level of national impact. So it's cool to see that local, regional, national impact all packed into one division. But that's all the questions that I have. I mean, is there anything else that you would want to add? Or
No, I mean, I appreciate the time, and I hope, as I get deeper into this role, to, be invited back for future episodes on what's new and what's going on, because I have no doubt we'll have plenty to talk about moving forward. The mission here at the Institute is regional, to be a catalyst for economic transformation in the region. And it's it's almost like we're a force multiplier of inspiration and passion into the industries that we're connected to. And the last thing I will say is, if anybody's listening to this that may want to consider, is there a path for me at within some of the tracks that we offer in the manufacturing advancement The industrial community is an awesome community. It's such a difference maker in any economy. We can't have just a service-based economy. You have to make things and sell things and create things. And I've always taken a great deal of pride and I hope that the students that come out of here realize that what they're doing, the contributions they're making to the world, both make a difference, both figuratively and literally, and they shape the world we all live in. We're all, just a degree separated from a machining process or an additive process or a quality process, and so it's amazing what we do, and I'm super proud to be a part of it.
Yeah, no, and absolutely, and definitely we'll be having you back on at some point. Yeah, like you said, hopefully for something cool and new to talk about. So
all right,
thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Megabytes, IALR's on-site cafe, features everyday favorites, convenient ordering options, and an eager staff ready to welcome and serve you. Our enticing menus offer something for everyone, from a fresh, well-stocked salad bar, wraps, sandwiches, and our rotating hot buffet offered on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Megabytes is open Monday through Friday from 9:15 a.m. until 1:30 p.m. To view menus and for more information, visit IALR.org/megabytes.